It's time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. It's going to feel more like March and early April across much of the nation to close out the week, especially across the plains and Midwest. High temperatures could easily be 10 to 20 degrees above late February averages. Widespread 60s and 70s will be common from Texas into the deep south. A return to reality arrives in time for the weekend for parts of the nation as a cold front from central Canada brings January-like readings into the Great Plains before surging to the east coast tomorrow. A clipper system forming along the cold front is expected to deliver a quick round of light snow from the upper Midwest into the Ohio Valley and then into the southern Appalachians. Expect all that to hit tomorrow. Closer to home, quiet weather is expected through Sunday with light afternoon breezes and warming temperatures. Winds are going to increase on Monday, peaking on Tuesday. Now, Tuesday could be a very windy day. Wednesday, the winds are going to slow down. It'll be breezy and cooler. We're going to have another look at the weather following this news. Well, it's that time of year again, forest fire season. The National Forest Service has had fire hire events to have a fully staffed fire crew for the season. Amanda Fry, the public affairs officer for the Lincoln National Forest, spoke with KOB.
They give people an opportunity to, get their foot in the door as wildland firefighters for the federal government or any other agency.
Fry says they've hired a handful of crew members this year and look to be in good shape. Currently, the risk is low for wildfires in the Lincoln National Forest, but as we all know, that status can change on a day-to-day basis depending on weather. Last year was relatively a quiet season, and the Lincoln National Forest is hopeful for another quiet fire season this year. But the only way that can happen, right?
Only you can prevent forest fires.
fs.usda.gov/Lincoln for more information. The Republican Party of Otero County had their big meet and greet event last night. We heard from Josh Beasley following the meeting.
There was so much information passed out. We had John Block here, we had Harlan Vincent, we had Senators Ron Griggs and Representative Townsend and Senator Bill Burt, all here giving their take on the legislative session. The bad bills that were killed, the good bills, some of the good bills that went through.
Beasley went on to say that the meeting, including words from the speakers and answers to the public's questions, will be posted on the Republican Party of Otero County YouTube channel. The virtual Otero County Democrats 2024 County Pre-Primary Convention will be called to order at noon on Sunday, February 25th. You can register to be part of that by visiting alamogordotownnews.com. After you register for the convention, you're going to receive an email with a link to join the convention. Be sure to save that email so you can be present virtually on February 25th. A community work day is happening this weekend. We spoke with Courtney McCrary Squires.
This coming Saturday, we're going to have a work day at the garden site that is located on Puerto Rico Avenue, which is right behind Grace Methodist Church.
What time do people need to be there?
So that'll start at 9:30 a.m. and it'll go until 12 p.m.
And if you want some more information,
they can follow us on social media. We do have a Facebook page that's available to the public. It's called With Many Hands Alamogordo. People are also welcome to give me a call on my cell phone, which is 940-395-8240, or they can send an email, which we just got a brand new email for With Many Hands, and that is withmanyhandsalamogordo@gmail.com.
It's nice to have organizations like Many Hands in Alamogordo working hard to make the city beautiful. We're just a little over a month away for Easter in the Park. This free event will be happening on Saturday, March 30th from 10 until 1 at Washington Park. We'll bring you some more details as we get a little closer. Well, today's Friday. That means it's time for a cat chat from Kitty City NM.
Hi, this is Kathy Denton with Kitty City NM. Welcome to this week's edition of Cat Chat. The cats featured today are two sweethearts, Daisy and Tigger, who have been at Kitty City for several months. Daisy is a combination tabby and tortie. She is mostly a gray tabby, but with a sprinkling of tan throughout her body, officially making her a torby. Daisy has been at Kitty City since August 2023. She is sweet and friendly and is the most social kitty in her room. She likes to greet staff and visitors at her door and then hang out with whoever came in, whether it's workers, volunteers, or visitors. Daisy gets along with all the other cats in her room, but she'd much rather prefer humans. She is a domestic short-haired kitty and is a bit on the small side. She is 1.5 years old and still quite young, but her delightful personality is in place, totally formed, and will not change. Daisy is fully vetted, has been spayed, microchipped, and has her rabies vaccination in August of 2023. Tigger is another female tabby with brownish-colored coat and black markings. She is very pretty and oh so sweet and gentle. When she came to us, she was pregnant. Soon after, she gave birth to her kittens and was the best mama. Then she was a surrogate mom to 7 motherless kittens. She lovingly accepted them all. Lovable and affectionate is the only way to describe Tigger. She is a darling. Tigger is almost 2.5 years old and has short fur. She loves lying on the top of her cat tree in her room. When she is being petted, you know how much she likes it because she keeps moving around so you know where to pet her next. Tigger doesn't seem to be very active. She is all about the attentions and petting. Tigger is spayed and microchipped and up to date on her vaccines and rabies shots. These 2 little beauties can be seen at Kitty City NM at 56 Stanley Ranch Road, or check out all of our kittens and cats at our website at www.kittycitynm.com. Tomorrow, Saturday, February 24, come to the White Sands Mall to adopt your forever friend from the kitties and dogs that will be at the Kitty City adoption event. Kitty City and Alamogordo Animal Control will have both cats and dogs available for adoption. Come to the White Sands Mall from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, February 24, to see the adorable cats and precious puppies ready for adoption. Find your belated Valentine at the event. This has been this week's edition of Cat Chat. I'm Kathy Denton, and I'll be talking to you next week from Kitty City NM. Kitty City and you, no one loves them better.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Local news from local perspectives from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Local sports, local events, and local happenings, and more. Owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
Trajan Felipe, a Sandia preparatory school coach, is now behind bars after police say he was sending sexual messages as well as images of his genitalia to student athletes. Police say Felipe also sent sexual videos to these children and even uploaded the evidence. Felipe knew they were minors because he had previously coached them. Felipe has been charged with criminal sexual communication with a child, criminal solicitation by electronic communication device, and bribery or intimidation of a witness. Robert Williams and David Mousy, both of Carlsbad and both convicted felons, are facing over 20 counts of felon in possession of a firearm following a SWAT standoff on Tuesday. The Carlsbad Police Department said they saw Williams enter the home associated with Mousy. Officers were able to enter that home after calling a SWAT team where William and Mousy were detained. Once inside, law enforcement said they found 24 guns, several of which were in vacuum-sealed bags. 5 of those guns did come back as stolen, and they found over $60,000 in cash, which had the presence of drugs on it. Williams and Mousy were both arrested and faced 24 counts of being a felon in possession of a firearm, 5 counts of receiving a stolen firearm, and the state is requesting they both be held through trial. 55-year-old Teresa McCown of Farmington has been federally indicted for committing wire fraud and violating the Federal Oil and Gas Royalty Management Act. McCown is facing over $1 million in penalties and up to 20 years in prison. McCown owned 2 businesses which extracted oil and gas from leased land and then sold the extracted goods to refiners. The land used was leased from the federal government, the Navajo Nation, and the Jicarilla Apache Nation. The Department of the Interior requires these businesses to report the quantity and quality of goods extracted, as well as the revenue made from the sales of those commodities, to determine the amount of royalties and taxes due. Based on financial statements from refiners, the Office of Natural Resource Revenue determined that McCown delivered over 400 inaccurate reports for both federal and native land leases between January of 2017 and July of 2021. To be clear, McCown was underreporting the amounts of oil and gas that were produced from the leased lands. McCown received a notice of noncompliance when the discrepancy was discovered. This gave her a chance to correct the reports. However, she chose not to make changes. As a result, the penalties owed by McCown for the multiple violations total over $1.7 million. Plus, McCown is facing one count of violating the Federal Oil and Gas Royalty Management Act, as well as 8 counts of wire fraud. McCown is currently on release while awaiting her trial. While on release, she is not allowed to work as a record keeper in any industry subject to state reporting, federal reporting, or regulatory requirements. If McCown is convicted, she faces up to 20 years in prison and $300,000 in additional fines on top of the previously stated $1.7 million. Cocaine is a drug that rose to prevalence and prominence decades ago, but now reports show its use is on the rise once again with teens. Wastewater testing at 106 New Mexico schools, which began in October, indicates cocaine showed up in 63% of those schools. That is much higher than fentanyl, which is only 13%, and there is no reported number for heroin. Keep in mind that these results do not come from just students, though. It also comes from staff and visitors who also use the facilities. Jennifer Burke, the executive director of Serenity Mesa, a nonprofit providing inpatient treatment for teens and young adults, told KOB that they've been seeing more teens coming to them addicted to cocaine.
Always been known as a more expensive drug, so it hasn't really been popular among kids because it is so expensive. But I think with fentanyl, it's a white powdery substance, oftentimes, and so I think it looks like cocaine, so I think they're mixing the two.
Burke said they started noticing this trend around a year ago. She added that sometimes people think they're using just cocaine, but they're actually using fentanyl as well, which makes the cocaine even more addictive and deadly.
To a young person, it might not seem as dangerous because everybody's talking about how dangerous fentanyl is, but it's the likelihood of it having fentanyl in it and being equally as dangerous is a pretty high risk.
Burke says she's also seen the painful withdrawals that teens go through with fentanyl and drugs mixed with fentanyl. That motivated Serenity Mesa to open a detox unit at their center. Sports and weather are coming up next. You're listening to Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
The annual Tularosa Cheer Camp is today at Tularosa Intermediate School from 1 until 5. Students can register at the event. It's $40 per camper. There's going to be 41 games for New Mexico girls basketball today, including Redoso at Tucumcari, Cloudcroft at Mescalero, and Alamogordo heads to Gadsden. Go Lady Tigers! There's also 34 games for New Mexico varsity basketball today, including Redoso at Tucumcari, Cloudcroft at Mescalero, and Gadsden comes to Alamogordo. Go Tigers! Your Crazy Radio spot on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for mostly sunny skies, mostly clear tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow. Your high today in the basin, 65, low tonight of 40, high tomorrow, 70 degrees. In Cloudcroft, partly sunny skies today, partly cloudy tonight, mostly sunny tomorrow, winds are going to be gusting up to 21 miles per hour. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 45, low tonight of 29, high tomorrow, 50 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.com, and you can learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, be sure to check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. Well, that concludes this Friday edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.